So my first tip is to always tie your hair back. I'm just going to use a cosmetic headband. It's just a Velcro one. It's from Ivana Beauty, which is my beauty brand, and I will leave the website up on the screen for you guys if you want to go check them out. So now that that is on, first step is to always cleanse your face morning and night. Definitely need to do that. Even if you don't wear any makeup, you still need to cleanse and get all the excess dirt and oils off the skin. Second step is to definitely 100% moisturize. If you don't have like a big skincare routine, moisturize definitely. Also, if you have any other serums or eye creams or anything like that. And then the last step to skincare, you always need to sunscreen. Even if you don't leave the house, definitely sunscreen. It's going to save your life when you are older. So my favorite like everyday primers are the Too Faced Hangover Primer and also the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. So this one's got a little bit of glow in it if you like that on the skin. So I'm just going to put that onto a brush because I am going to use a brush for foundation today because it is like a lot quicker than a sponge. This is just a quick and easy like makeup routine that you don't want to be spending a lot of time on perfecting. Okay, so that's just added like just a nice little glow over the face. I'm not sure if that's coming up on camera, but it's definitely showing up in my mirror. So the next step is foundation. My favorite everyday foundation is the NARS Sheer Glow, and I'm going to use that today because it's not too heavy and it still has like that coverage to it. It's totally personal preference as to what foundation you want to use or whether you want to have a full beat or just a nice even light coverage just to make you feel like nice and refreshed. I'm just going to take that on the same brush that we used the primer and literally just buff that into the skin. This foundation still has a lot of coverage even though I haven't even used much on the brush. I don't like to take my foundation too high up underneath my eye area because I don't like a lot of product sitting up in that area, and I also don't take it over my mono lid as well. I'm going to put concealer there. That's what I like to do, but like I said, personal preference. For concealer, I'm going to use Born This Way by Too Faced. This is quite full coverage, but it's more of a hydrating concealer, and I just love the finish that it gives to the skin. It's not too matte, and because I use more of a glowy foundation, I definitely want to use more of a hydrating concealer. So I'm just going to put 3 dots underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to go into the inner corners of the eyes and also just on the eyelids like that. So for this next step, I'm going to use a sponge. We do sell these on Ivana Beauty as well. They are cake sponges. They're quite big and super soft, and they blend out foundation and concealer perfectly on the skin. So it is a little bit damped. I'm just going to go in and blend out that concealer on top of the eyelids first. And then I'm just going to blend out underneath and in that inner corner as well. This is going to help to make you look more awake and cover up any darkness underneath the eyes. Okay, so I personally don't get oily, so I don't want to set all my face, but if you do get super oily, it is a good idea to set the whole face, but I'm just going to set underneath the eyes and the eyelids today using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So I'm just going to dab that underneath the eyes. You can use a sponge to set underneath the eyes, but I feel like sometimes it can be a little cakey, and I'm not going for a full coverage look. I'm just going for something that's going to be nice, easy and quick and natural. I'm going for more of a warmer bronzer just so I can bronze the face and also use this for eyeshadow as well, save time. I'm going to use that on a big fluffy brush. This doesn't have to be perfect. If you want more of a sharper, like contoury bronze, then you can always just clean that up with powder anyway. I'm gonna go underneath my chin here and try and hide the extra baby I've got down there. I swear to God, after my third baby, I have just blown out my double chin. It's just not going anywhere. I'm also just going to bring that down my neck as well. Using a bigger brush just helps to dispense the product quickly and blend it out easier. This is just going to help the skin look nice and bronzy. And I'm also just going to swish it around my nose as well. Now, it's definitely a personal preference as to whether you like a lot of bronzer or a little bit of bronzer, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You just do what makes you feel good. The whole point of bronzer is just to add a little bit of definition around the face. So next step, we're gonna do blush, and I'm gonna go for just a nice natural corally blush. This is Luminoso by Milani. I'm going to use the same brush, but if you like to be a bit more specific about blush placement, you can use a contoured brush, but I'm trying to be as quick as possible and as efficient as possible. So I'm just going to use that same brush, and I'm going to just blend that over the apples of my cheeks just for a little bit of color. I'm going to do this step purely just to show you how easy it can be. I'm going to grab my translucent powder that we use to set underneath the eyes and just clean up the sides of that bronzer just to make it look a little bit more defined. So I'm just going to go in and set down the face using the Fix Plus by MAC. This is my holy grail product, honestly. I don't know who would ever do their makeup without it. I go through so many of them. I'm just obsessed with them. Now we're gonna do highlight, and personal preference as to how much highlight you like to use. I'm gonna use the Ivana Beauty highlight in Asha. That's what it looks like there. I'm not gonna do too much because I want it to be quite natural. Cupid's bow. And down the center of my nose. Now, I actually forgot to do eyes when I was doing my bronzer. So I'm just taking the bronzer that we used to bronze our face, and I'm taking a big fluffy eye blending brush, and I'm literally just running that through the crease, not being picky with the placement or like worried about how messy it's going to look, because it's just going to give a little bit of a shadow in that crease. So another little trick to make you look more awake is to grab your highlighter and a small pencil brush and just highlight the inner corners of your eyes. You can do it intense, you can do it just a little bit. I'm gonna stop at that and not go too overboard, so that just blends in with the rest of the highlight. Now, another personal preference is whether you like to take eyeshadow underneath the eyes or not. I'm just, for the purpose of this video, going to do it just on the little pencil brush. I know some people don't like to wear it down here and some people do, so like I said, personal preference. I'm going to use the Maybelline Lash Sensation Mascara, and I'm just going to do one coat over my lashes. I'm going to use a little mirror so I can see a bit better. Okay, so this is the difference with mascara and without mascara. I mean, you can tell, but my lashes are still the smallest lashes in the world. So I've accidentally got a little bit of mascara on my skin, and a little tip to getting it off is to getting a dry spoolie and just scratching it off. It just takes off the mascara, but you need to do it when the mascara is dry so it doesn't smudge. I actually don't mind if I have a little bit of like a smudged lash line up the top, just because it does define my eyes a little bit more. I'm sorry if you guys can hear a lot of traffic at my shop right now. I don't know why, but there's so many people in trucks going past and on motorbikes, and it's driving me nuts. So the next thing we're going to move on to is brows, and if you have nice natural fluffy brows, you can honestly just set them and then move on to the lips, then we are done. But I don't have nice natural fluffy brows, so I'm just going to run a little bit of pencil through my brows just so it evens out with the rest of the makeup. Now, the reason why I'm going to use a pencil, this one is the Anastasia Brow Wiz, one of my favorite. This This is in the shade Auburn. Pencil is so much quicker and so much easier to mimic the hair strokes of your natural hair. So I'm just gonna start out by defining underneath, starting from the front of the brow and moving my way to the tail of the brow. And then up the top of the brow, I'm gonna do the exact same, just really light pressure. I'm not gonna do it too hard because I don't want the eyebrows to be really defined and dark. So it's kind of just like an outline, and then I'm gonna go to the front of the brow and just do little strokes like this. That's just going to mimic the natural hair, and I'm going to kind of turn it on an angle and drag that down to the tail of the brow, and then turn it around and just brush through that pencil. And that's literally it. Like, so easy. You can define it a little bit more from the tail. It just depends how you like your brows. So again, on the other side, just drawing underneath, defining underneath, and then doing it the same on the top. And because I have no tail, no hair on the tail, it's not quite dark, so I like to fill that in a little bit more. Just a little bit. And then back to the front of the brow. Oh, just doing upward strokes, then kind of turning them and blending them in to the tail. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to grab a concealer brush and just get a little bit of foundation, and I'm just going to define the tail just to make it nice and sharp. Like I said, you don't have to do this. I just kind of wanted to do it for the purpose of the video. There you go, that's it. Simple. So the next step is to set them down. I always love to do this because it makes the brows look a lot more natural. I'm just going to use a little bit of soap and my Fix Plus and spray that onto my soap and get a spoolie and just scratch the soap. This is going to set our brows into place. So you're pretty much just going to brush the front of the hairs straight up and then lightly set the tails to the side. Or if you like to brush the tails up, then that is completely fine. Okay, so moving on to the lips. You can do just a plain lipstick. You can line and do lipstick. You can use a gloss. You can line and use a gloss. Today, I'm going to line the lips and use a gloss. So the liner I'm using is Boldly Bare by MAC. It's just a nice nude liner, and easily just going to line the lips. So I'm just coloring in the whole lip using the liner. And the gloss that I'm using today is by Ivana Beauty in the shade Gold Diamonds. I'm just going to apply that straight over the top of the on the lips. That is it. I'm obsessed with these glosses. They're so pretty on the lips. So one more thing I didn't mention in the video that you can do if you're wanting to, it does open up the eyes and make you look a lot more awake, is a nude liner through the waterline. I'm going to use a nude gel today because I don't actually have the pencil, but the pencils are so much quicker and easier to use. This step isn't really important, but some people do love it, and I'm going to show you the difference with or without. I'm just taking a little eyeliner brush. I like to get my brush that I set my under eye with and just use that to pull it down and just place that in the waterline. Okay, so that's the difference with or without like a nude waterline. I think I actually like it without the waterline done, but that's just my personal preference. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye just because we've already done one eye. So the last step is to get the Fix Plus again and just spray your face, lock it all in, and then that is it. That is just a quick and easy, fresh makeup look for the day. This is definitely just a quick and easy look if you are like a mum and have kids running around, or if you don't have much time to get ready, or if you are just wanting a little bit of something on the skin. It's just easy and quick.